Hey YouTube, and welcome back to the Sneaky V YouTube channel. It's been quite a while since the last time I got with you guys, and that's because I've been saving up money and I haven't really had time to do anything on this engine. Well, I've had time to do stuff on it. I haven't had anything left to do on it. See, I've already connected all the wiring. I put my intake manifold on my throttle body here. I think I did all this on the last video. Something that has changed is that I had a high mount system for both my alternator here and my AC compressor, and now my AC compressor has moved down here. And I did this because the AC compressor was looking like it was going to interfere with some things in the car that are pretty solidly mounted, so they can't be moved. So I took the AC compressor and moved it down. On this side, it doesn't look like it's going to hit against anything, I hope. If it does, I'll deal with that when we get to it. Moving the AC compressor down, changed my belt layout here, so I'm going to have to get a shorter belt. What else? I stuck my oil dipstick on. I'm going to have to trim that down to size because it's a little bit too long. It goes way down into the pan. I can't get it out right now. That's weird. Anyways, so yeah, that's a little bit of info to sort of bring you up to date here. As of right now, I have a few more parts that I can put on. I went and got some. Oh, this little thing is a engine dolly. I had to take it off of the engine stand there because it was stopping me from putting my flex plate here on. The flex plate wouldn't fit on while it was on the engine stand there. So I had to buy an engine dolly to put it on. Now everything goes onto the engine just fine. Let's get some of these wires out the way. And spin this guy back around. The engine dolly does sit a little bit lower. And I have you guys sitting a bit lower on the ground there too. I took you guys off the table over there. So what was I doing? I was going to get some more parts on. And the other parts that I have are my headers here. Headers, exhaust manifold. I think you call this type headers. The exhaust manifolds are actually all connected across the top right here. So this is called a header. This is a shorty header. I was debating whether to get shorty headers or long tube headers. And I went with shorty headers because I want the best chance of this thing fitting basically straight into the car when I go to get it in there. And long tube headers would have made that a little bit harder to do because you have to actually have the car up off the ground to actually even fit those on. You can't just, you know, stick them down through the hood like you can with these. I just wanted to make my job a little bit easier. That being said, these probably won't stay on for the entire life of the engine because I'm going to be switching to turbo headers after a while. And I mean, these will need to go away, and I'll be replacing them with some that go forward and up like that, so they can go to a turbo and spin the turbo. But right now I have these. So I'm gonna stop talking and start getting these on. Let me get my spark plug wires out the way. Now, one thing I do worry about these shorty headers is that, as you'll see when I go to put these spark plug wires back on, they do come rather close. Some of them actually even touch the header. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to protect my spark plug wires from the heat of these things because they don't stay cold. So I'm just gonna weave these guys through here. And that one. Still have a bolt here. And this guy goes on basically like this. So for right now, I'm just gonna put these bolts in finger tight until I get the chance to actually tighten them down. Yeah, you see that one? This one on the end right here is actually touching right up against it. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. It's not like right at the exit of the primary pipe here, so it's like kind of off to the side. Actually, it's not even really touching, but it's kind of close. But yeah, this is a high heat area and these are made of rubber, so we'll see how it goes. So, let's get these in, and I'll run these in with my little impact wrench, not completely of course, because that could damage them, but I need it to make my job quicker. Let me take these off. Actually, I don't need those up in the way. Out of the way. Why is this so hard? Oh my God. There we go. Get these guys on. Now, imagine doing that with long tube headers, except you have to have the car like 36 inches off the ground and you have to shove it up from the bottom and try to line it up. I just don't want to deal with that. So, I mean, that is an excellent selling point for short tube headers, or shorties as they call them. Keep putting these guys in until I run out of spaces to put them. Oh shoot. I'm gonna have to take this all back off because I've got my exhaust manifold gasket. So yeah, you need an exhaust manifold gasket between your header and your heads here, because without it you'll have exhaust leaks, and it just sounds terrible, like when you have an exhaust leak going past your headers. So let's get these all the way back off. Good thing I didn't tighten them down all the way. Still a pain. Set these aside. Get these last two off. You out of the way. And I just wasted my time doing that. So let's break out the power tool so I don't have to waste too much more time doing it. And my wrenches. There you are. 3/8 inch drive. And of course the one that I'm looking for isn't there. Let's try. Plug that onto my drill here. Bolt on one end and a bolt on the other end to hold it in place. Otherwise it'll just fall off. And get this slightly torqued down. Not all the way. Give me back my socket. When you're working with cars, apparently nothing is ever gonna be easy. So if you ever happen to be doing anything like this, just prepare for it. Let's get these last 4 or so bolts in. Not gonna fool with that. And while it's not completely tightened down yet, this is basically what it looks like. So I'm gonna find the torque specs for these bolts that hold this on, and you know, get those torqued down and do the other side as well. Get my spark plug wires back on, and that'll be it for the whole exhaust manifold, the header deal here. Let's tighten this down. Plug wires. Check the time before they lock me in here. 5 o'clock, I'm good. See, this one touches directly against the primary pipe there, so I'm gonna have to figure out something for that. Probably some heat route. They make heat route for this purpose, so I'm gonna have to acquire myself some of that. This one touches as well. And the final one doesn't touch, but it is pretty close. And there you have it. One side of the header set. It does have the bung down here. They call that a bung for the O2 sensor. Some come without that, and you end up having to weld it in, but I bought the one that already had it. So while I'm here, I might as well get my, at least one of my O2 sensors all threaded into its slot. These guys are wideband O2 sensors. Every car, every modern car at least, has O2 sensors, and what it does is it senses the oxygen coming out of your exhaust here, and that it uses that to calculate how well your fuel is burning. getting too much oxygen, that means like not enough oxygen was burnt with your fuel, so it adds more fuel. If it's not getting enough oxygen, that means you have a mixture where wait, which one did I say first? If you're getting not enough oxygen, that means you have too much fuel. Yeah, that's what I was going with that. So you have a rich mixture, and it the computers pull some fuel out of your your system. But these guys here are a little bit more advanced. These are wideband O2 sensor. Most cars have narrowband O2 sensors that just tells the computer whether it's running rich or it's running lean. These tell you exactly how much you're running rich or lean. It's something I wanted because that's pretty important, and it helps you tune the car a lot better. It gives you more resolution as to gives your computer more resolution as to how much fuel to add and how much to take away, whichever case it is. It's a pretty expensive guy, that, so I'm just gonna loop that up there so it's not hanging around all over the place. And I'll get the other side done here in a little bit, but I'm also going to get my intake done. And it's not much of an intake, it's just a elbow. It's a 45-degree elbow from Spectre. It has a little rubber thing to mate it with my throttle body here. And you kind of need a intake tube to go from like wherever your car is picking up air from into your throttle body. You don't actually need one, but this one does because it runs a MAT sensor, which is a manifold absolute temperature, or a I think a multiple air temperature sensor. And what this does is senses the air temperature, and that tells the computer like the density of the air in conjunction with your MAT sensor. My MAT sensor, not my MAT, my MAP, which is manifold absolute pressure sensor. So you have the temperature and the pressure, and the computer uses that to calculate the density of air, and that also tells the car how much fuel to spray into the injectors, which then goes into the heads here, and you get all your ignition and all that. Anyways, that's my MAT sensor. There's no place to put this in there. I'm just gonna have to drill a hole, or maybe get someone to weld a bung in there. They call it a bung, for that to screw down into. But yeah, that's my little intake thing, and it just kind of slips on over here over the throttle body, and take a screwdriver. It has a couple of worm clamps here, and you tighten it down. And so that guy's on. A lot of times what you'll see is there'll be an air filter sticking off of these. I'm gonna get an air filter. I don't have one right now because I just don't. But yeah, excuse me. That's my intake tube. So aside from my headers and my air intake tube, I think that's pretty much all I have to show you for today. You'll notice that two sides to the engine. You got two exhaust manifolds or headers. That means two wideband O2 sensors, one for each side of the engine. I do have the other one around here somewhere, but yeah, you don't necessarily need to, but that gives you a little bit, gives the computer a little bit more resolution as to what's going on inside your engine, especially when you can split it into like bank 1 and bank 2. The computer says, hey, bank 1 has a cylinder somewhere that's getting too much fuel, and it pulls all the fuel, not all the fuel, it pulls a little bit of fuel out of this entire side until it gets it right. So yeah, it doesn't have to worry about that side, whereas it would if you had only one wideband O2 sensor. But anyways, I'm gonna get my other header on. I've done enough talking, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you would. Send your friends my way. I can use the views. Thank you for watching and have a good one.